Forces.
All right.
Forces.
Well, welcome to Almost Podcast. This is your host, Mike, and I'm joined with my two lads here, Colton and Sean.
Hi.
That's me.
That's me too. Yep.
Were you saying yes, or were you saying...
Oh, hi. No, I am saying hello to our beautiful audience members that welcomed or wanted to join us today on this amazing podcast episode.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what are you talking about today, Michael?
Yeah, Mike is gonna bring us through this.
So today
We had research assignments.
we mentioned this once or twice, but throughout our journey across the interwebs, we've stumbled a lot of different media, right? Obviously, anime is a huge one for us, but kind of a new wave that has started to become really popular of recent are Vtubers, and stands for virtual YouTubers. So people use a 2D or 3D avatar to interact with their audience members. I think now it doesn't have to be specifically YouTube, but Twitch, whatever platform individual platform you want to talk about. But it's really been a huge wave over the past 2 years in the in both the anime and just YouTube and gaming communities. It's been nuts just kind of seeing how that has grown. I'm probably plenty of our audience members are familiar with it already because of how widespread this stuff is, but we kind of want to just talk about it, go through some.
Been on YouTube, you've probably seen at least a thumbnail.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Usually, if you're on Twitch too, they're pretty popular streamers, so you've probably seen an anime person in anime form in front of their screen doing the regular Twitch thing.
And Michael gave us a list of VTubers to look at because I believe Michael's... I actually didn't know this, but Michael's the most into VTubers of us.
Oh,
Definitely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely watch a couple, subscribe to a couple, but I didn't. When you gave me a list of
it's 10.
15,
Yeah, 10
I'm
or
like,
15.
oh shoot,
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
For me, I was I don't watch VTubers much at all. You guys share clips, and I watch the clips, and I enjoy my clips, but I'm not really into the VTuber community that much. So I was interested in listening to all these different varieties of people and seeing how their styles varied. So it's been a journey, to say the least.
So, I mean,
I can't find the list anymore. Oh, found it.
You gotta scroll up in our chat.
Yeah, so I sent him a list of, not comprehensive, but I'm definitely the most into it. I fell down the rabbit hole pretty hard. I have kind of lessened so far. I don't do it as much, especially now that summer's hitting and we can do stuff outside. But definitely during the winter and especially back in 2021, that was I spent a lot of time on YouTube watching that stuff. Frankly, I'm not huge into one single VTuber. I definitely have my favorites. Everyone does, but I try to spread myself out and this is really fun, and just kind of have a tasting of or a variety of all their different personalities and stuff. It's really fun. I really just enjoy. I can't really pin down what aspect I like about it, VTubers so much. I mean, the anime character is fun, but I think it's just they get to play a character or get to bring out a side of themselves that most people in real life can't always be, can't be that personality in real life.
I feel I want to describe VTubers a little bit more, to someone who's never heard of it. It's like someone you'll use. Everyone's familiar with the concept of streamers at this point, so it's someone has a camera pointed at themselves and they're playing a game or doing some activity, and people tune in to watch live.
Yep.
Now, the VTuber is just one layer abstracted from that, where a camera is looking at somebody doing something and we're playing something, but there is a layer of software in between that which tracks the movements of the person and applies them to a digital facade is the wrong word because it implies fake, but
persona,
a digital
just
persona
an avatar.
of an avatar, a video game character, and there's 2D or 3D ones, and any level of in between. Like I've seen full body tracking VTubers when they're doing VR games, or literally just like chest up essentially, or like neck up for a lot of VTubers.
Yeah.
So it's like one layer of abstraction from a physical real person to a digital self, I think. Is that kind of describe it a bit too?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not, because they're not showing their face at all. I mean, but at the same time, they're also, putting on the persona of their character and, having fun and trying to entertain the audience during that time.
A lot of them will have backstories, like a Grim Reaper, let's say. It's currently a popular one called Callie, or Calliope. And there's all sorts of different things. Now there's also agencies that do it, which is very much like an idol agency in Japan.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's interesting how similar they're
It's kind of weird to me.
Yeah. So I'll kind of get into kind of the backstory. So I started watching, I think it was Coco. So this is Kiryu Coco of Hololive, which is one of the main agencies, VTuber agencies.
Which is a Japanese agency.
Yeah. And yeah, her personality was very different than what I expected. It was very, how would you describe her? Very,
she's nuts.
She's nuts.
Like crazy.
Also, like very, she kind of just tries to like, throw a wrench in the established order, right? Especially Hololive itself, from what I've seen, is a much more of it's more in the idol agency type vibe, right? Where, they have this kind of more strict rule set, barely, but there's a bunch of YouTubers through there, going back since like 2017. They've had, I think there's like 40 members now, 40 or almost 50 members now.
Yeah.
Wow. Group. Really? Yeah. Right. They've exploded.
It's crazy.
If anyone's, been on YouTube of recent, you probably run into like some clips of Gargura or Mori Calliope. Like those are two kind of big names. Fubuki is another
massively
big one.
Popular. I think both of them have over 1 million subscribers.
I think Gura's at 4 million now.
Yeah, Gura's killing it.
Yeah. So
just 4 million?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
good for her.
Yeah, this is at like it's almost past the fad stage now, where it's
yeah.
It's really
it's definitely past at 4 million subscribers, you are widely known to people even outside of the sphere of influence of VTubers.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's when you start getting into popular culture. People just know of you. The same way anime has kind of crept into just everyone knows of what anime is.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it happened really fast.
It did.
I think really what set it off was Coco. So she really tried to push, like, VTubers really started with like Kizuna Ai, right? Is like probably the first like mainstream one where like there was actually newsworthy moments and had like penetrated Western media there. Because I remember even back in like 2016, 2015 hearing about her.
Yeah, she was collabing with like real world organizations too, not just staying in her VTuber streaming like sphere. She was going out and making content outside of streaming, I think.
Do I know this person? I'm gonna have to look.
It was
up
like
these
I should do like really short videos and then also do the stream. And then you had Hololive come in and start out small.
I recognize Kizuna Ai.
Hololive, and then
I didn't know she was a VTuber. I thought she was just a digital thing.
Oh, like a Miku Miku kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
she's real.
She was definitely one of the stars.
I kind of remember memes about that from that long ago, where it's like, real wow, that's so weird.
I just remember saying,
made that connection.
I just remember her saying like some like her saying like "f you" or whatever. She'd say like "fuck,"
interacting with people.
Yeah, say "fuck" instant and
it's hilarious just seeing like a anime girl just saying "fuck you." So
It's, what's the word for expectations versus reality? Like that dichotomy between the two. When you're expecting like this cute anime girl to be
you mean
cutesy,
like
and then
Gatmo
it's
way?
not.
I mean, I know that's what
That's not Gap.
She
Moe.
subverts
It's,
expectations.
Yeah,
that kind of
subverting
it?
expectations.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. That phrase.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's become this, popular
Debuted on
culture icon.
29th of November 2016.
Okay.
Excuse an I.
2016. Yeah, and then Hololive started, if I remember correctly. I really didn't get into it until like 2020, 2021. But yeah, for me, it was Coco, and then I'd started following like
2019.
Sorry?
December 2nd, 2019 is when Hololive was founded.
Okay.
Around like that COVID era. Yeah.
I'll like fact check us because there's so much I don't know about all this. So.
Yeah. Fact
Yeah,
checker
so
Sean.
I mean, I just kind of fell into it, and then I really got into it once the English branch debuted of Hololive. So you had like 5 girls who now English, right? Before is basically you have to listen to clips in Japanese or Indonesian of
translated, like
Right,
you have to
yeah.
translate
Yeah.
the clips.
And
translated,
Coco was
so-
Coco
Yeah.
did. She spoke a little bit of English, right? Which is why
Well,
some
she's-
English audiences
Yeah.
kind of got into
She's
her.
pretty good English.
Well, her
Does she
actress
do,
is
like-
American, so
Yeah, she'd
yeah.
do like English lessons.
Really? Because she doesn't sound like she's American.
yeah, she's American.
she just probably grew up in a Japanese household or something like that. Is what I guessed. I don't really know much about her personally, but
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, and so from there the EN branch, and then a bunch of you just started exploring different people. There's a lot of also different agencies. Niji Sanji is another big one. I think they're even bigger in Japan. They have a bit of EN English, and they have like Indonesia, Korean, Japanese. I think they at least from the vibe that I get from them are a lot more casual about it. They're streamers first rather than like this kind of idol-esque like pedestal that Hololive or like this just a lot more casual. And then you have more American agencies like I think it's VShojo is the American one, and they're like basically
Is
just
that American one?
they're like a cooperation of different individual streamers who just decided, oh, we'll cooperate together. That way we can have a stronger base to work with. And you've probably run into streamers like them. Iron Mouse is a big one. I mean, I think she was the most sub person on Twitch for a while.
really, Iron Mouse was.
VShojo was
Jeez.
founded in 2020 by former Twitch employee and YouTuber.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
Interesting. It doesn't say if they're American or Japanese. Oh, wait. YouTube, US-based VTuber organization based in San Francisco.
okay.
There we are.
So yeah, and yeah, I just kind of want to give that history for context, right? But I gave you guys
trying
kind
to
of a
figure
list of people, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to figure out how best to describe or analogize that's a word, right?
Yeah,
The VTubers to someone who has no idea what they are or like why you would find it entertaining. And I was thinking like it's as if essentially they're personalities or like entertainment personalities. So it's like having a favorite or several favorite comedians, let's say like stand-up comedians. You would go to them because you like their jokes. That's why you would go to a show of a specific comedian. And a lot of times those comedians or like if there's a show of some kind, like America's Got Talent, you would see like a specific show for somebody or them doing a certain type of trick. A lot of times they find their way to Vegas and Vegas is a place to go and do these shows and things. And there's like, they get hired on by a specific agency or a group, and they kind of have a residency at a building or at a hotel or something in Vegas. And that's very similar to how I believe VTubers kind of operate, because you can have your independent actors, that are just doing it on their own, or you can be a part of an agency. And really the draw to them is the personality or character that they're playing. So it's also like liking a certain actor. Like I love, you could say Captain Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right.
There's several movies. I love watching those movies, and it's not because, well, I mean, Johnny Depp, big part of it. So, like, you would know that he's a good actor to do that type of role, and that's entertaining, you know? Very similar to how VTubers are. They're a person doing a specific type of acting role, dressed up, you know, digitally, to do some sort of role, and I think that's kind of the biggest analogy you could make.
Yeah.
Between VTubers, because I know when I described this to my mom, like, because I was like,
did she catch you watching something, or were you just like, oh,
no? I was just like, hey guys, there's this new thing coming out, you know,
it's coming soon.
You know. It's like VTubers are a thing. They're like, what's that? And I describe it, and my mom's like, well, that's really weird. I'm like, how do you describe this to somebody who, or try and like show that there is entertainment value in some new form of entertainment to somebody who wouldn't normally find it.
Especially since they don't have context, because there's like multiple layers of context that go into VTubing as its own genre, right? Because if like
it was a weird like tri-point of things happening. You know, streamers becoming big, anime is big, and then technology to
do this,
put those two together, essentially.
And the memeability too, like the memeability aspect. I think that's really what has been a huge driver of this new wave. Is there's endless memeability.
Yeah. I mean, just because it's a person, so you can have anything that you want to say. So I think that's kind of the best way to describe it. But I know it's really hard for somebody who isn't a part of any of those communities or, you know, a part of those media circles to kind of understand what this is.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think it definitely is big, and not just because it's anime, but like it's big in the future for the future of entertainment, because, you know, you could have, I could totally see news anchors being replaced by, you know, a digital persona.
Absolutely.
Because then you don't need to you
don't need to do any makeup.
All of the stuff, you don't need to do makeup. You don't need to, like, there's so much stuff that goes into production of entertainment that you wouldn't have to do if it's digital, you know, where your character is digital. So it's kind of impressive, and I think it's going to be pretty big.
Especially I think we'll go into some of the technology too when we cover some of the individual streamers that I've mentioned, but they have some really impressive technology behind them, and I'm like, part of the reason I watch them is just due to the technology itself is out, like, just crazy.
It is crazy. Like, people are like getting really good. Some of these people are like doing their own models now, and it's like that's just really cool to see the detail of all the diversity of all the different models. And
and it's not only the models themselves, it's the rigging too, right? Like putting them on a skeleton and then putting that into the software, right? And creating that, like, because there's like, you know, 5 different middlewares to eventually get to the end product.
For a lot of, to describe the technology, you really have to dive into several different aspects of the VFX development right now. And I want to say, of the three of us, I probably know the most about that.
Yeah, I'd say so.
In terms of like translating that stuff to, you know, actual thing. Like, given 5 hours, I could I think one of the people you guys said was like super impressive was Girl DM. And I would be, I think I could accomplish something similar in about 5 hours.
Girl honestly. DM? I mean,
really?
Yeah.
Code Miko's the one that's
just as far as like
the mapping.
We're kind of jumping a little off of your scheduled topic, but like, I think it's good to describe the technology behind some of this, because so Girl DM, that's basically a live simulation of a character in Unreal Engine, and
I think you mean
all you need to do that is a model the software.
Are you sure it's
Unreal.
Girl DM? Because I think she's Unity, but
it's Code Miko. That's who you're talking about.
Code
I
Miko,
think.
yeah.
That's the 3D girl, like the most realistic looking girl.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that's just Unreal or Unity.
No, it's Unreal.
Could be it. because that's what I saw when I first watched it. Is I'm like, this looks like it's done in Unreal, and it's those tracking rigs that you have, which enables like conversion of your body's positioning into a 3D skeleton, and then it animates that in real time. That's just a plugin essentially for that type of suit. And you just have to pair the objects together, really. And then you apply whatever model you have to the skeleton that you've made. And you're kind of good. It kind of pairs a lot of different aspects, like 3D modeling, which Colton has done, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. Did you take classes like that at all, Michael?
Although CAD is a lot more different than the type of 3D
it is,
modeling.
Yeah.
But it's similar aspects, in terms of 3D space and manipulation. And then there's character modeling, which is completely different. But all of that is not terribly hard to do. The harder part would be facial recognition.
Yeah. The minute
because
details.
there's so many little tiny aspects that go into making a realistic face and movements. There's so many micro muscle movements that happen in your expressions. And the main ones that a lot of VTubers have are eyebrows, eyes, mouth, and that's
like,
usually it.
They're basic
and side to side
shoulder
movement.
They can
movement.
their head, you can see their head turn and stuff like that.
Yeah.
During the
Yeah,
stream.
And there's
have a
also
little bit
a
of head
huge
turn.
difference between like the 3D, what we're talking about right now, and also the 2D type, where it's, you have to also translate those 3D motions, because obviously it's a 3D environment into a 2D character model.
But for 2D, to get your basic point across, you only need about 5 or 6 different tracking or trackers. In 3D, it's a lot more difficult because you need to accomplish the extra variables, like full on turning around and everything. And then with who's the one that I was talking about? Code Miko. With her, what's impressive is the amount of detail that she's added to the face, because of the amount of rigging, and rigging is the process of applying a tracked object from your video camera to a digital piece of your avatar, and the amount that has to be done for that is very impressive. But to get kind of the really basic 3D motion tracked onto a digital character doesn't take that long with all the prerequisite software. It's the fine tuning and details which take a long time.
Yeah.
So,
and also the bug fixing.
Yeah, bug fixing and stuff. And sometimes software just crashes, doesn't work, and things like that. And I don't know where I was going with my original point. I was kind of describe the software that kind of goes into it.
Is that like
because
your
what's
biggest
cool
draw?
with the two VTubers? No,
Okay.
not at all. And actually, it's funny because when you guys were telling me about the girl in Unreal, and I watched her, I was like, that doesn't seem that like mind blowing to what you guys were saying. But it's also because I see a lot of that regularly anyway, like with other content I watch. So to me, it's like I know where the limit is in what the software can do right now, and like what is even better versus lower tier. And I was like, that's pretty good, but it's not like game changing as of yet. It's
Okay,
really
Mr.
close.
Quality.
Yeah. I haven't seen.
Well, I mean, just be realistic. I mean, like you can clearly tell what needs to improve is hair simulations.
Have you? Did you
especially
see
in
her?
Unreal.
So Code actually just released a 3.0 or 4.0 model update where she updated her hair simulations to a next gen level. They're pretty impressive.
I've not seen that yet,
Yeah.
but I will. I'll check it out. But then it also goes back to video games, because video games or top tier video games are what is using the latest Unreal Engine and Unreal 5 now to real time render these things, and it's the same thing that you can get that she's using. So we all also know the limits of where it's at, and if you look at VFX and for movies and stuff, also where the top tier is at, and it's there's a line between pre-rendered and real time, and the gap is narrowing, but it's still not there at all yet.
Yeah.
So eventually, I think we could do a full-on, super realistic VTuber real time, but we're not there yet.
I think we're getting there, though.
We're not in the uncanny valley yet. We're still coming down into it.
Well, see, that's where I disagree. I think that you should stay out of the uncanny valley because, like, if you go too close to it, then it's like it'll be creepy. It's like I don't know about you, but do you remember in Rogue One, the Star Wars, that they had Princess Leia and Tolkien, or not Tolkien, Tarkin.
Yeah,
they had Tarkin.
CG.
Both of those in full CG, and I was like, this is a little uncanny. Same with Luke and Mandalorian. It was really good, but not excellent. I thought what they actually did with the second season with Luke, this is kind of a total sidetrack tangent. No surprise there, but they actually did a really good job with that. Still a little uncanny, but a lot better. Good job on hiring that guy who did the deep fake.
Yeah.
I don't have the issue with the uncanny valley that you talk about all the time. I just either don't see it or it doesn't bother me. But I can tell when something or what makes something real or not. And there's so many tiny small things that would...
Yeah. Maybe that's because...
that influence it.
Yeah, maybe that's because you have a lot of knowledge in that regard. Therefore, you can basically... when you look at it, instead of going, this essentially, binary principle of, oh, this looks weird or it looks fine, it looks human. You're like, oh, I can nitpick every tiny little detail and be like, all right, this is the thing that causes me to...
Yeah, it's like, all right, maybe there's not enough flip movements there.
Yeah,
and that
That's cool.
It's not necessarily... I think the uncanny valley comes from your ability to recognize something as wrong, but not being able to describe why it's wrong. And that's why it's unnerving for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. But if you can describe why something's wrong, it's not necessarily disturbing.
Yeah.
It's more like technical.
Yeah. I think
so.
Oh,
you go for
while her model's like super impressive, I just thought it was funny how you were you guys are like, this is amazing, and so I looked at it, I'm like, all right, not bad. No.
I haven't seen anything close to Code Miko though, as far as VTubers.
Really?
No, I don't know of anyone that's on her level. That's what I was. That's the thing I was gonna say is I thought that she made a lot of her own software and stuff. So it's not really a plugin she's using. She's kind of coding her own plugin and making that to make it work. I just don't have. I mean, there is someone.
I'm fairly certain that she did all the the rigging and that herself. I'm not sure if she outsourced the 3D model. I just say that because I feel like programmers and 3D modelers aren't usually in the same. They're not. Usually it's two different people with two different skill sets and two different mindsets to do those things. So, but yeah, no, everything her is excellent. So, I think that
there's something very, very similar to what Code Miko is doing in terms of quality.
Mm-hmm.
Which you guys are aware of Quarter Digital, I think.
I believe so, yeah.
YouTuber group on YouTube that does a lot of VFX breakdowns and short videos and things like that. And one of the things they did recently was create a virtual content creator. So using complete AI-driven technology. So they have a script generator that generates a script of given some input variables, all right, these are your base variables and we can use those every time. And every time we click go, it creates this sentence or this script.
Mm-hmm.
And then they feed that into a AI voice generator that creates the voice. And then they feed this into a technology that will map facial movements to words or spoken words. So then you have everything for, your digital face. They put that onto a digital body using Unreal, the same software that Code Miko is using.
Mm-hmm.
And that person is given, or that digital self is given they put them in this virtual house that has various spots. So bathroom, bedroom, garage, basement, blah, blah.
It's just The Sims.
And those are keywords that the script can use. So then all of this is then generated in real time, essentially. You click a button, everything flows through, and then at the end you get a 15, 20-second video that can be directly posted onto social media. And they have a whole channel of this that's just like every video is just AI made.
That's crazy.
No input.
Yeah, send me the link to it.
And that is almost exactly the same quality level that CodeMiko's using.
Wow.
That's not real time though,
because it's the same technologies.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see where we can go or how far you can push it right now.
Yeah. What about you, Colton? So, you mentioned that you're not as into VTubers as, Sean, or obviously not as much as me, but
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so VTubing is like, I definitely get it. Like, to me, VTubing makes a lot of sense. It's like something that I wouldn't have thought we're getting yet, but when you do, notice that anime is like kind of skyrocketing right now, streamers are skyrocketing, you might as well combine the two and you have something great. So
yeah,
I just don't a lot of them, like when I watch a streamer, I don't watch streamers a lot anyways, but I usually like a little bit more of a grounded experience when watching streamers most of the time. So VTubers never really grab onto me as much, but I don't know. Like you said, there's a ton of memes, like the clips of VTubers are what get me. And that's what I love about them. Well, because they're so wild in personality. Awesome. They're so over exaggerated sometimes. And it can be really funny just to like see what they do together or what they do in a certain video game and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I gotta say, I think most of the VTubers that you gave me, I'd watch a couple clips, I'd be like, meh, it's all right. Some of them I thought were really funny. I do have a couple that every time I see a clip, I'm like, yeah, we're clicking on that. But most, it's like I'm trying to like figure out what my taste is in VTubers. I feel like, do you guys have this? Do you guys have like a certain taste in content?
Yeah, I do, but it's not
the list that Michael gave me. I was like, oh yeah, I could tell Michael watches these.
Oh really? Okay, like, this is definitely Mike's taste.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Most of them were besides the guy at the bar,
Takahata.
Yeah, which I wasn't a fan of.
I did not like that guy either.
Dude, most of them were girls that would make leading or straight out lewd dirty jokes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Which is definitely Michael's humor.
Yeah.
And I was like, especially the French girl.
Oh, I like the French girl quite a bit.
And yeah, absolutely.
Which was funny, but sometimes it was a bit too much for me. I'm like, all right, calm down.
The French girls?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll get into this once we do a deep dive on some of the clips I sent. But mostly I just wanted your thoughts on, because like this is something that is like, whoa, like I've gotten really into it. I just want to understand, I just want to understand kind of like your thoughts on it. And you guys aren't as into it. Because I have my thoughts on why I like it, why I like this kind of type of content, but I also want your guys' thoughts on why you not don't like it, but just aren't as into it. / like, what are your thoughts there?
Well, I don't know, Colton, did you have an extra thought right away?
Not really. Just that it is, I think, in general, I think a lot of them really play up their character to the max, to the extreme. And I think I cater to VTubers that are usually more chill, except for the French girl, because that was pretty funny. I just don't know if I could watch it for 2 hours at a time.
Yeah. I usually tend to be the same, actually, which is surprising because you guys are like, oh, they really play for characters. Like, most of the ones I recommended are not heavy character focused. They're pretty grounded.
Maybe it's because I just look at clips, and the clips get them like really like up in their personalities. I do think
I don't really watch too many streams, or I'll check into a stream for 30 minutes and I have to leave because I'm a busy, I'm not super busy, but like I got shit to do, right? I'll usually like throw a clip on or a stream on for like, in the background or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do really like VTubers in terms of like the content they make. and as far if I was like to divide up the time that I spend on YouTube, and what portion of that would be watching VTubers, it would probably be near 50%.
Oh, really?
That's funny because that's about me too.
That is a lot of content. Okay.
But I definitely am not as versed in the variety of them, because I'll usually find a couple that I find entertaining, and that's just what I stick with. There's until it becomes not entertaining or my interest changes.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen too often. So I'll just like subscribe to somebody, and then that's just they post a new video, I watch it. It's just like part of my new content cycle.
Okay, yeah, interesting. Yeah.
So when you post all of these, I was like, wow, that's a lot. I recognize several. You know, I some of them I think I told you about at least, like starting, but I wouldn't say like I subscribe to all of them or anything. There's like a couple, a small handful.
That's interesting too, because that's the opposite of me. Is I'm someone who like I'll like bebop around and be like, I want to listen to X person, and then this is fun. I want to listen to this person, and I don't like go hardcore onto one. Like I have a few of my like quote unquote favorites, but I wouldn't say I watch them, somewhat more than I would, another VTuber that I like or I enjoy.
I will say that. Sorry. Unless you have another thought, I was going to kind of go into a separate topic or something I noticed when I was researching all these VTubers. The VTubers are carried hard by their editors. Whoever edits those 20-minute compilations.
There's a lot of good editors.
I definitely have an editing taste. So sometimes I feel like my perception of a VTuber could have almost been completely changed based on the editing style. Because, like, Neanners, I like Neanners a lot. And I like the videos we share to each other of her, the edited 20-minute videos. I haven't, like, tried to watch just, like, a 2-hour stream or, just pick a random moment in the middle and just see what she's like. Yeah. But, like, the editing really can make or break the experience for me, too, regardless of the personality, just because it's a certain humor that I have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's some VTubers that are really good, and streamers as well, that are really good with live editing in a way, like with soundboards or cues or voice alterations.
Voice alters, yeah.
Like that is just straight out of the camera, hilarious, a lot of the times. And some are better at than others, and some just don't do it at all. So then the editing kind of carries, I know what you're saying. And there's definitely because I do sometimes watch like Nanner streams, like full on ones. Yeah. Not live. It's just the VODs that I see later.
Right.
But the what you call it? There's definitely 30-minute, 40-minute periods where I'm like, I gotta skip this. Because it's just chatting with the chat, which to me is not entertaining because I'm not in the chat. And I don't really care for that. But like when they're doing something, I'll watch that, or they're talking with somebody else.
Like they'll do a lot of times people do like super chat streams where like they'll read off the donations from like previous couple of videos, and I'm like,
and I never watch that.
I'm good. It's like
it's not for
sometimes
me.
There'll be a funny ass clip from that, but most of the time I don't. It's be like I'll do live streaming, or if they're doing something a little bit more like fun, or like out there. There's some really fun out there ones. Gosh, what was one recently? Some of like just the half IRL. So one thing that VTubers can do is they can do half IRL things where they like have like their hands doing stuff, like cooking streams. Or God, what was the one Neanners was using the freaking tech decks, the little mini skateboards?
Yeah,
she did a tech deck one and a Beyblades one.
Yeah, Beyblades was super good. Good idea.
It was like what? It's like what the fuck? It's like I have to watch this now. This is just
something so stupid, but like really hilarious and funny.
Yeah,
and her getting just wasted off White Claws. White girl wasted off White Claws.
Like one of the streams I watched recently was Connor, Iron Mouse, Nanners, and Aethel playing Uno.
Oh God, yes.
And they played Uno for like 3.5 hours, and I watched the whole stream.
that was a brilliant. Yeah, that was a brilliant.
It was like
stream.
As I was doing something else. I don't normally, if it's a long format video, I'll not just straight up watch it like a movie, but I'll be having it going in on a second screen,
right?
Yeah, and definitely listening a lot towards it.
So yeah, I mean, we've mentioned a couple so far, which is Code Miko, big one. Neanna is huge. She's almost at 1 million followers, I think now. We've got also a couple others I sent you guys. So did you guys check out like so starting off the bat? Did you guys check out Kason at all?
Well, do you want to go? It's like the top of your list here is Takahata 101. I'm going like straight down.
I want to know why you like Takahata, Sean. Or I mean, Mike. Like what drive?
Oh, one, I really like he brings stuff in. He'll bring in a lot of other people. Like if you check out his streams, he'll bring in like he's had a bunch of guests. Like his most recent one was Sarway. He'll bring in other VTuber guests a lot. For fun, and just it has a very sitcom-y vibe. That one does which is like very different. Also Takahata is his guy Takahata. He voice acted in like the Team 4-Star DBZ abridged.
Oh, did he?
Heck. He's I think voices Cell in he does a couple voices. He's also Alucard in the abridged Hellsing, which is
go back and listen
absolutely
that
fantastic. That's a must-watch show just across the board. The abridged version of Hellsing. But yeah, he's a funny guy, and so I really enjoy just some of his content. And he'll bring in he has a couple other people on there. You got Mim and Kim Rai are the two like people who like usually hang out with him, and they just have it's a fun banter. Frankly, I actually like VTubers a lot for the collab aspect. I don't know why, because collabs between streamers, it's always fun. Yeah. There's something about the VTuber thing.
I definitely do like when there's at least two, preferably.
I agree.
Yeah.
For the most part.
It depends on the streamer or VTuber, but like the collaboration aspect, I think it's just, two people talking anyway. It's more entertaining than someone alone.
Yeah.
More often than not.
Yeah. I agree.
Actually, one thing I've really gotten into of recent is my tastes have shifted away from originally I kind of started with Hololive stuff. I'm like, oh, this is cool, very interesting, but my taste has kind of changed, switched over to I actually like a lot of the Niju Sanji now, which is kind of their the other main agency there, and they brought out a couple of English branches. They brought out 2 male and 2 female groups. They call them groups, but it's just, they do it for essentially the branding aspect of it.
Right.
And boy, is it so much fun when they get together. It reminds me of us back at Allison's, just getting drunk and just, chatting
talking with people.
Diverse group of people just having fun, right?
Yeah.
And so you have men, women just, chatting, right? And there's no, shooting the shit, giving each other crap. It's so much fun just kind of watching the dynamic there. And it's funny because I feel like that individually, I don't know if I'd ever watch any of, I watched a couple of them, the Sanji, but when they become a group, when they become an entire, when they get in a collab, it's the energy is just multiplied, and it's so much fun to really watch this.
Going back to the list a little bit, and I think Colton's in agreement with me, or maybe based on what you said, but I don't like Takahata, the bartender guy. At least from the couple videos I watched, I wasn't a fan.
I could not get through 3 minutes of his videos personally.
I also couldn't.
Personal
get through
subjective thing. Takahata is probably really cool.
Yeah, definitely all subjective.
Just couldn't get with the vibe.
It just I wasn't finding what he was doing funny, And this is entertainment content to me for the most part, so I want to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't really getting anything from that. I don't know. It was him being the ones I saw were him being kind of crazy on stream.
Yeah.
Yelling a lot. And I don't know if I could pinpoint the exact thing I didn't like, but it just didn't resonate with me.
Yeah. You didn't vibe with it.
So
it's fine.
Yeah. So I would it was what you're saying, Golden? Some of it to me, and I feel weird saying this because to me it almost felt cringy, I guess, was a way for me to describe it.
I can see that. I know what vibe you're talking
It's a little hard because a lot of people probably look at VTubers and they're like, that's cringe in general. So you're saying
let's be real,
a certain VTuber is cringe. What the fuck, bro? But I don't know. Yeah, it's just I need to think more about why I like certain VTubers, because his style just does not vibe. It's almost like he was yelling a lot, and trying to play up this character, but he like wasn't selling his character enough for me. I don't know.
Or the character itself wasn't inherently something I enjoyed.
Yeah. Like
Maybe it's just not a
Manners,
cute anime girl with big titties.
That's the other thing. It's like, honestly,
No, that's not the case either. Because there's definitely a lot of guy VTubers, or a couple that I really enjoy,
yeah.
just on their own.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely not that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, that was my take on it. That was on that guy. And the next person you have is Juniper. I don't remember what she
She's
was
the
like.
monster.
So she's the moth.
She's like a monster girl thing.
Oh, I didn't like her.
You
either.
like her?
She was Junie. So
Yeah.
yeah. I really like her. One, I really like straight off the bat. So one thing I really actually like, not just about like the content she makes, but she's one of the few people who does it all herself. So she this is all, and she works ridiculous. She's done like within the past year, she's done 5 different models or something like that. And this is all herself, like doing the 2D and then the rigging of it, and then all that stuff, and while also making content. So it's really impressive that way.
Super. I like have mad respect because I watched that
I'm looking at all the
one
models
video
right now.
where she like reveals her like most recent model, and I mean, that shit looks as good as most of the other models that you see. And I mean, the fact that she did it herself,
and this is done by a single person.
Yeah, that's wild.
Also,
to
I just
me.
find her personality kind of adorable. Like the gimmicks or whatever behind it. Like, frankly, I'm not the type of person. Like, when I watch this, I don't get sold by the gimmicks of like their character or whatever, right? Like, I don't give a fuck about the lore or anything like that. Frankly, of their character, I'm like, I want someone who just like a lot of the people I like watching are usually the more, I guess, seemingly genuine type VTubers, because at least for me, the value in it is like people who wouldn't be comfortable streaming. Like, why I think I watch VTubers, because it's people who normally wouldn't be comfortable streaming like their face, right, and are more introverted. Yet through this medium, they can become more extroverted, more outgoing.
Yeah.
Right? So like outgoing introverts. I don't know if that is a thing.
It's like the wholesome take on VTubing. Like, because you get it. It's like, you feel like if you have insecurities, you feel like you can get rid of them with this model. And it's like, if someone insults your model, it's not personal, but a lot of people could probably like get insulted, IRL with their IRL self, and that's not cool.
And also
it's
it
way
creates
less
that
cool.
like that privacy, right? It's like, you don't
it
have
does.
to show that, right?
That's a good aspect of
privacy.
it.
I really like that aspect, because like I've long withheld that if I was ever famous, I would never want to be famous, because like I value my privacy a lot.
Absolutely.
But for people who are like that yet still want to be an entertainer, I think it's a great form of expression for them. Is being able to do VTuber stuff.
Yeah. But Junie I really like, and also I think her personality is pretty cute, not gonna lie.
Yeah,
like,
Juniper I feel like
adorable.
She does really well too, because she's got a lot of streams in real life, I think. And she's also like, I think she had a decent start years before in real life, from the clips I saw at least. So, I don't know. She's like, for me, like a difference between Juniper and Takahata. Takahata felt like he hasn't been doing this a long time. Whereas Juniper actually feels like she's been doing it a while. Like she can entertain the audience a lot better.
Like a seasoned streamer.
Yeah, it just seems like her vibe, the way she was like talking through the situation was better. It's weird because Takahata, knowing now his history, I would think would also be really good at that too, but maybe he doesn't have the stream hours or something like that.
It could also be the clips you watch too.
Yeah.
I mean, the same with me.
Again, it's like the editing.
And it could be the editing.
That editing just didn't work for me,
Yeah.
and that's my perception of it now. So
The videos that I watched of Juniper, and I tried to watch like at least 2 or 3 videos of each of the ones you sent.
Yeah.
And the ones I saw of Juniper, I get what Colton's saying. It definitely felt more like a seasoned streamer. But I just didn't vibe with that. Whatever, like maybe just the content that I was watching at the time, but I don't know. It didn't grab me for her.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, I do want to skip the list though, because we had one that we got actually in a somewhat heated debate offline for, which is Selene.
Selene, yeah.
So Selene is one of the Nijisanji people, and she definitely has a unique personality, to say the least. But she is she's like an Apex streamer mostly because she was a pro Apex player, or like she was in Predator, rank.
She's the purple girl, right?
Yeah, purple dragon looking.
Purple with the laugh.
Yeah.
She has the laugh.
With the laugh. So yeah,
Yeah, I was not a fan of her at all.
So like, wait. So what is it? Her? Is it her laugh?
I think it's the laugh specifically. I
Really?
don't. I'm very particular with laughs.
I
don't like if someone has like a weird laugh. I'm like,
I don't
dang.
think that's a weird laugh. That sounds like the most
Not at all.
genuine laugh out of like every
Yeah.
other VTuber.
Really?
It's
Yeah.
mockingly genuine.
Yeah. It's like because like Gura is obviously super popular. When she laughs, I don't know. That doesn't seem like a real laugh. It's like
It doesn't usually
character
sound
laugh.
genuine when Gura
Yeah.
laughs.
Yeah.
Gura definitely sounds like she's playing her character all the time.
Yeah.
And there's pros and cons to that.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
I mean, yes, Celine's laugh sounds genuine, but
It's like too much. I will say.
I also and it's not just the laugh. To not be superficial.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the energy, which is a lot that she's putting out.
She puts
The
in a lot of
toxic
energy.
gamer girl energy.
Not a fan.
Maybe I'm
you
just a
know,
toxic
and,
gamer.
and she just really like
Exactly.
she's just 110 all the time, and I don't like that.
She's actually not 100. I mean, if you watch some of her streams, she's not super 110. She's
Well,
really
I
good
guess the
Apex
clips
streamer.
I watched, she was-
But yeah, I think I sent one of her. She gets really drunk and like I don't think she has a high. She obviously does not have a high alcohol tolerance. So she goes like absolutely
And that was high
nutty
energy the whole time.
Yeah, nutty in Minecraft. And it was freaking hilarious. I think I was laughing the entire time. Shit. I remember I was working outside and doing some landscaping, and I was just listening to that clip. I was just
Laughing.
dying laughing the entire time while like shoveling dirt. So
Yeah.
And I couldn't get through that clip. I was
Yeah.
like, this is not.
See, I mean,
I couldn't
I
watch it.
kind of get it because Selene, I did try watching a more extended stream of her because my first impression was like only 5-10 minutes, but then I tried watching like a 20-minute, 30-minute thing of her, and yeah, like it does kind of wear me out. Like she sucks my social battery up a little bit, and that
really?
does mean a lot, or that she is like bringing a lot of energy to the table. But I don't know. I still like her in collabs. I think she's hilarious. She seems more genuine. Again, I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the laugh. I don't know. That was
I
just
can see the genuine for sure.
Yeah.
Also, I think she just doesn't pull her punches. Like she'll like just call
Yeah.
people out for bullshit. I think some of my favorite streams like her with RPR, which is another pro Apex player, and they just fucking go at it with each other. It's great. Yeah. So I really enjoy Selene, and also she does a really good job of tips, like Apex tips. Like I will listen and I'm like, I can improve my Apex game from that. I'm like,
there we
that's
go.
really
It's
good
like
to
we
know.
all play Apex. It's like that's all you need. That one hook.
Yeah.
I can be a better
Yeah, she's
Apex
like,
gamer.
that's a really good tip or something like that, right? And she'll like break stuff down. I'm like, Jesus, she's like a sports commentator with the kind of
Talented player.
So I'm interested in you guys though. From this list, who is like your top 2 people? I almost want to say besides Neanders, because I feel like Neanders would be there for both of you guys.
I mean, I
Yeah,
think
without
for
Anders
Sean-
there, because that would easily be my favorite from the list.
Yeah.
Because I already knew about her. Amelie was pretty cool. I from the couple streams I saw with her, like collab streams I saw with her, she was funny.
Amelie?
Oh, I mean, and you've listened to her
Monarch
music too.
slash
right?
Oh,
Amelie.
yeah.
Yeah,
I've not
so
seen her
that's
music.
a big one. Is that Amelie, VTuber persona is Monarch, but yeah, she has been in the anime community for ages, and she's done a lot of English stuff. And she came out as a VTuber. It was only a couple months ago, I feel like. Yeah, I thought it was really cool, and obviously she's a great singer. But she'll like do collab stuff, and she's got a great voice too.
The other thing for me was Girl DM. I thought she was pretty funny.
Girl
Yeah.
DM's
She has
an
the
interesting
coolest,
one.
a really cool model. I really like her model.
She has a high end model for sure.
So
She's
she's
the-
the only 3D one besides Code Miko, right?
I think so.
Well, she's a 3D anime style avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
green
the green
cat
hair.
girl.
She's the green cat girl with and she has a mask a lot of the times.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, the Oni mask, yeah, that's fun. But yeah, just her mouth, the lip flaps, how synced they are,
Yeah.
is just absurd. Because I'm fairly certain she uses a mounted, just like Code Miko actually does. She uses a mounted iPhone with the 3D face tracking, so it uses the face tracking because it's like the best
Really?
software out there supposedly.
That is actually
with
insane.
the iPhone.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, you
And
can get
then-
an app on the iPhone that will allow you to use the AR technology in it
Yeah.
to better map your facial features to a model, and then that can be exported onto a virtual
That's
rig.
crazy. I mean, the emoji, like the freaking stupid little emoji, like facial things you can do with the iPhone are actually really
That's exactly
good.
the same. It's
And
the
I'm
same
like,
software.
That makes so much sense, actually. Jeez. Okay. Anyone could be a
So yeah,
VTuber
she has
now.
an iPhone sitting in front of her, and she'll use that. And she just has fun. She has like fun interactability with like some of her model and stuff. But yeah, she's cool. A lot more down to earth and grounded. I feel like that's why I like. I don't watch a ton of her stuff. I'm sub to her clip channel. She does. She puts out a lot of shorts actually on YouTube, like these 1 minute little clips. I'm like, oh, this is cool. So. Yeah.
Yes, those are probably my two favorites from the list to answer Colton's question.
What about you?
What about
Mike?
you,
What's-
Colton?
That would
What are
not be.
Oh,
two
my
favorites.
two favorites. It probably was Selene and Sarui. Is that the French girl?
Sorry,
Saru.
Yeah,
Who's that? Is that the French girl?
yeah. It's
Yeah.
the girl that was playing. Oh, she played freaking the
I
VR
watched
game.
her Alien Isolation video. And the VR one was Walking Dead.
Yeah. I don't know. I found her like really funny for some reason. It was just kind of
Oh yeah.
I don't
She
even
was
know.
funny. I enjoyed her videos, but she was a bit too much at times.
She's kind of a she yeah, she is a lot. You know what? I take my statement back. I don't really know if I like chill VTubers. I think I do like the people that are a lot because I like
Yeah.
Nanners. I like Sarure or whatever the heck her name is, and I like freaking
And Selene.
Selene. Yeah, and they're all like high
which
energy.
I find funny because Sean, you really like Neander's. I mean, Neander's is your favorite, right? Like, that's the one you watch the most of.
probably
correct?
current favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, and like she's the opposite of like this low energy that you're talking about. She's extremely high energy, like just absolute chaos. I mean, let's be real. She's essentially like her character is basically an eldritch being at this point who is masquerading as a cat girl.
Yes. I don't know. I think it's just mainly like with her, it's not necessarily like she is the energy she's bringing is crazy. Well, crazy, yes. It's not high. It's just there's so many chaotic things happening around her that's like low key chaotic.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is funny
Yeah.
because of what's happening. Like she'll do like the truck driving streams. She drives a truck driving simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a high energy stream, but it's hilarious because of all the stuff she's saying.
Yeah.
And like or doing, and she'll like back in somebody go like, I don't even know how to impersonate her, but it's just like a
You
whoops.
can't impersonate
that.
her. No one can.
She's just a good content creator, I think. Like
Yeah.
honestly.
Well, she's been doing it for a while. She's been doing it
Yeah.
for 15 years, I think.
Really?
She's just one of the weirdest, like naturally weirdest people ever.
And then
I
is
think.
like not too weird.
and somehow is still making content from that. Like
yeah.
hasn't gotten like, it's actually honestly impressive, like the amount that she's made and still kept making.
Mm-hmm.
Because for a lot of things people would and especially making it during a time when it was super cringe and people would yell you off the internet for
Yeah.
doing stuff
All the way back then.
and
yeah.
still doing that. I'm like, that's just
That
impressive.
is impressive. I mean, yeah. But yeah, she has like just super interesting ideas all the time, it seems like. And it's just, it shows like the
Very
experience
creative.
shows. Yeah.
Very creative. Yeah.
Very creative.
The only other
sir.
person I've seen that is as naturally just like weird and funny as she is Ethel, actually.
You think April?
Which is funny because they're also
which is now
together.
great that they're together.
I haven't watched
but
a lot
like,
of April.
He's like, I don't know how he does it. Like, he has the ability to just go off on a story, like straight up improv. That's completely like fake. Or just like, there's a random story that he'll just go on for 10, 15, 20 minutes on. And it's all like consistent and just
And it's all
funny.
just a joke.
Like, I don't know.
Jeez.
And it's all a joke. And I don't know how he does it, but he has the ability to like just enrapture you in a story that he's telling. And like he'll end it be like, yeah, and everybody died on that plane, or like,
Yep. He's got dry humor.
like,
He's
oh
got-
yeah, no, I was the only
I think
survivor.
he
And
actually. I
it's
think
like-
he. I remember mentioning. I'm pretty sure he grew up in Ohio, so that makes sense because he's got kind of a dry Midwestern humor. in a
yeah,
lot
he
of
grew
ways.
up in Ohio, then lived in Japan for like 4 years. And
Oh,
I
wow.
think he's living in LA now.
Yo, cool.
So it's like, It's I mean, just from hearing him talk, sounds like a really chill dude.
He sounds like
I would love to grab a drink with him, just hang out.
Absolutely.
You want to know something that I was noticing about these VTubers when I was watching them all? All of them actually have like really good voices. I think they all have really good microphone voices. Like their voice is so clear.
Aethel especially.
Athel's got a really, I mean, Athel's got an extremely good voice, but a lot of like what is it, the K girl, green haired girl? Like she looked like
Girl
sounded
DM?
like Girl DM. She had a good like radio voice almost. A lot of these girls.
You know who didn't? Takahata.
Takahata didn't. No.
Maybe that's the one thing, because absolutely voice is so key for this, because obviously that's one
it
thing
is
of
mainly a voice.
the true person, right? Of like
Right.
the well, you don't call him actor, the person behind the I don't know how to describe it. The person behind the avatar, right? There's one thing they really can't change. Like you can modify it a little bit, and like there's obviously been cases where like female VTubers have been played by male people just using a voice changer, right? But you can't really do it authentically by modifying your voice.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you either have to have a really good natural voice, or in whatever voice you do play up, like maybe like a Gura, just whatever voice you do play up, it's just got to be interesting and believable, or they do a really good job at making it interesting.
Who's the I saw a clip the other day. Who's the zombie redhead girl?
Ollie,
Ollie, I think.
Hollow
She
right?
has apparently this alter ego that's Olivia.
Oh, I think I've seen this. Yeah.
Normal name.
And I saw a clip of this where it's just another model she put up, and it's just like a completely different voice and
Really?
like attitude.
What the heck?
And I was like, that I was thinking, wow, that is
like-
impressive.
it's
like
how
that is
soft
impressive.
that other
Later.
voice is.
Yeah, and she's not dead. Yeah, no.
She's like classic Moe cute girl in that voice,
Okay.
as opposed to her regular, which is like loud and abrupt.
Yeah. All these VTubers also, they all know how to speak really good Japanese. Like, also Girl
I would
DM.
say that.
Really?
No, not
Well,
all
Girl
of them.
DM, she was a Japanese teacher,
But
or
that's the
English
thing. It's
teacher
like
in Japan.
I had no idea. It's like she just starts whipping out Japanese in one of these clips. I'm like, dude, does everyone know how to speak Japanese? Like, all of them know more than I do, and I took a class. And I'm not saying I'm like good,
Well,
but they're all
I think with a lot of
decent.
VTubers, because of it's that intersection of all of those interests.
Yeah, and they've been in
A
the
lot
culture.
of them would have wanted to be in that culture or study Japanese
Yeah.
or like anime.
Yeah.
So like it kind of makes sense.
It does. It just surprises me. I'm like, I guess they are like gamer girl, anime girl, like worth their like salt,
Yeah.
whatever you would say.
They exist.
Yeah.
They exist. Yeah.
I mean, and there's plenty of living in Japan, right? One we mentioned before, Calliope Mori. She lives there, and that's where she's at, doing her rap game there. And Callie's pretty cool. She's definitely one person I'd get a drink with. I want to have a sit down and have a beer with Callie.
Callie would
She's
not-
like, seems like a pretty down to earth person. Or in I guess her case, it's wine. I think. Yeah, she's a wino.
Yeah.
Or just have straight alcohol. Actually, just drink from the bottle of vodka.
Of the wine, yeah.
I think
Or the
she'd be down for
vodka.
that. But or some whiskey or something like that. But yeah, straight from the bottle. But yeah, she'd be one to hang out with. Most of the ones I watch are like, this is someone in real life I'd like to hang out with, or I find kind of cute. Those are like the main ones. Like, frankly, Sarway and Juniper, their personalities are kind of cute. Not gonna lie. So that's part of the reason I want to watch them.
I don't always want to hang out with people that I find entertaining.
Really? Well, I guess
Yeah,
in
like,
the end, I don't know
there's-
if I could hang out in the end. I think I'd be like, there's gonna be a lot of chaos and trouble.
Their description of their trip in LA sounded awesome. Like all of the random stuff that happened sounded hilarious. That stuff I love to go through because I love random stuff happening while traveling.
Oh yeah.
So that sounds like a duo to be a part of, just to kind of observe, to see what happens.
Yeah.
You join in the chaos.
But I wouldn't hang out with everybody. Like, I don't know any example off the top of my head right now.
Like you wouldn't hang out with Selene?
No.
Oh, really? Dude,
I would
Sled would
totally
be so
hang out
much
with Sled.
fun.
She
We
would be a lot
need to
of
get
fun.
in so much fucking trouble. That'd be so much fun.
No, I don't think we all watch Trash Taste.
Yes.
And I don't watch any of their content like from their main channels, but I wouldn't hang out with them. I don't think.
Really?
Yeah. Like they're fun as content creators, but not the type of people that I would hang out with.
I
I
think it would be fun to hang out with them.
I don't think. I mean, obviously that subject has changed if you ever actually meet somebody, but there's a big difference between seeing somebody on screen and then interacting with them in person because of this whole parasocial relationship that develops because of that.
Yeah. And that's one thing with VTubers that like is kind of weird, right? Because you do develop parasocial. I try to distance myself from it because like, and that's one of the reasons I like the VTuber idea is because you don't get as much parasocial because they're a character. So say if I ran into the XY person in real life, right? Kaesan's a great example because, it's
like running into an actor in a way, like, oh, you play that person.
Yeah, it's like, and you can talk to them like as a human being, right? Rather than, having to fan. Because like I'm the type of person who doesn't go, I'm a huge fan,
$50 subs to...
Yeah, I'm like, I see them as a person, right? And they're just having fun doing their job, all right? Making good content. And for me, it's like...
And there's a lot of people that are... to go back to the actors analogy, it's like there's a lot of people that who see their favorite actor and then would just lose it. Yeah. But for me, I always have that big separation of they're playing a character and, either they did a good or bad job. And if I like the characters they play, the most I would do, handshake, like, hey, really, really like your work. Nice job. That's, there's no like...
You want to have a beer with them or anything like that?
Single, well, sure, maybe, but like, I don't think there'd be a single actor that I would quote unquote like fan over.
You wouldn't like just be like, oh my god, it's them, and then like have this thing where you're like, oh my god.
There's not a single person I have that with.
Yeah.
So it's kind of different, I guess, in how I view that.
Yeah. For me, I'd almost more like want to hang out with them just to like figure out their story. Like I want to know why they're doing what they're doing and how they got there, because usually it's some crazy story. And honestly, like you were saying, Sean, if we were to hang out with some of these people, we'd get thrown into some wacky situations. That's not really what you were like speaking to. It was more like just having a beer, a single conversation. But I would love to hang out with a lot of these people if I just had the opportunity to get into some of the crazy shit and shenanigans that they get into. That would be awesome. I would love that.
Are you kidding, Colton? You'd be the one promoting some of those shenanigans.
Exactly.
Yeah, you'd be instigating it.
Maybe they'll bring me on. That's all we need. Just need that one opportunity.
Yeah. No. For me, it's more of like, I would like to meet. It'd be cool to meet this person in real life. And for me, I would essentially divorce their character from like the individual I meet. Right. I guess there would be some certain expectations, but it'd be like, all right, you disassociate that the character they play, right? Because regardless of how genuine or character focused they are, VTubers are going to be, they're still putting on a persona regardless, right? It's just how much of a persona they're putting on. So I think it'd be awesome to meet these people in real life, just to have have that conversation, meet them in real life, and see how they are. But and just like same thing with like streamers or actors, right? It's like, met XYZ person, right? It's like, oh, cool. I want to just have a chat and talk.
Just talk to them, like for like level with them. Now,
like real human beings.
No, we've talked about this a little bit before, but I wanted to like bring it in because I was curious. I have like a couple things I want to talk about. But you guys, some of you,
two people.
Personally, when I see a VTuber, and I like that VTuber, like we'll just say Selene. You run?
When I see a VTuber, I run.
No, when I see a VTuber and I'm like, that's a cool person, I like saw them IRL, like it wouldn't break the immersion of that character. Like I'd be like, that's cool. I want to like hang out with you. I want to see you in real life. I just want to see who they actually are as a person, as opposed to just their fictional character. Whereas, Sean, you were the one that was like, you like the distance between it. You like seeing both sides would kind of ruin the image, right? And then Mike, I didn't know.
Yeah,
you're kind of the one.
Yeah, no, I agree with my previous statements.
Yeah, I'm with you, Colton. I'm the type I can, again, like there's a disassociation between the real person behind the face or behind the avatar and the the character they're playing. So for me, it'd be like, oh, it's just cool. It's a different side. Whereas I can just totally do that, right? Obviously, there's a couple of VTubers we mentioned that have like IRL sections, or their alt is an IRL. Or best example is Kaysan, who she actually pioneered 2.5D, where she had her model up here and then just her chest below, which I thought was kind of funny. Yeah, she did like she's done IRL streams quite a bit, just her face doing whatever. Right. Well, I think the reason she mentioned for doing it, I'm like, yeah, I see this is main reason she likes to use their model is because one, she bought it, so better make use of it, and two, doesn't have to put makeup on or anything like that. She doesn't have to get dressed up for a camera audience. She can be like, oh, I just wearing a ball cap, sweats or whatever, and just go, all right, put the VTuber model on. Don't have to give a fuck about anything else. Don't have to take a shower. Nice. Don't have to do anything. Like 100%. That's not a bad call.
Right.
Don't have to worry about the actual like IRL appearance as much and fuss over that.
I think for me, a lot of times it depends on how much I know about their personal life, or how much they talk about it. Because like Gura, for example, rarely ever talks about personal life or things she's doing. It's really just a character. So it'd be harder to get over seeing the real person in that instance. Whereas if it's someone who talks about what they do already quite often, I would be less of it, but
a quote unquote more genuine, less character driven streamer.
Yeah, but even still, I still probably wouldn't like it because it is the character that I'm watching.
Yeah, not the person.
Not the person. It's kind of hard to describe.
Yeah, it's not like you're shitting on the person or anything, but it's like sign up for a certain experience.
Yeah, like I signed up for this, content, being that it was going to be X type of content, and if it changes, then I just stop watching. But like if or other circumstances change my opinion, then I don't necessarily like that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I guess Gura, it would be one. So she's like the biggest VTuber right now, right? She has a very adorable model. Gives me like oh, she's like your little sister, right? But yeah, definitely if I saw like met her in real life, right, there'd definitely be a huge disassociation, right? There. Whereas if I met someone who's a bit more grounded, it would be like, oh, it's just them, but putting on a little bit more extra of a persona, right? As their character. So, I can see where that would be kind of jarring, though.
Yeah, because it's like one thing I was actually thinking about too, like going back to how like all these VTubers are basically just idols and like really into the idol culture. I was actually really interested because obviously we talked about this earlier. Neanners and Athel got together, right? Or it's official that they're dating. Athel. And I was like wondering, like, with Neanners kind of being an idol, specifically Neanners, because I'm assuming she has more followers, but I wonder if her announcing that she was dating someone actually impacted her following at all. Like,
I'm pretty sure it did.
Did it? Did they ever talk about it?
I saw it drop 10%. Because I saw Ethel's drop 10% too.
That's the thing. I would. That sucks though. Doesn't that suck so bad to where you like?
Yeah.
But I think that's totally fine, honestly. And 10%'s not bad.
It's not, but I mean, like, still, like, your user base,
and you're probably better off losing those people.
Maybe at that.
They're gonna unsubscribe for that. They're toxic enough where you don't want them in your community.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's true. That's a good silver lining on it.
It is kind of fucked up. I think that's a bigger issue with something like Hololive, where they're almost explicitly an idol type agency, where like there's that culture is superimposed onto it, rather than just being like someone like Neanners, who has been independent for however long she's been going on, right?
Right.
Fuck, she's a human being. But yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like it seems like they get worse. They get hit worse much more than like normal celebrities, just because people do idolize them and have like the
and also
parasocial relationship kind of thing.
Let's be real. I mean, most of the people watching VTubers, I mean yours truly included, like aren't they're not, super out there, and they're not like, getting chicks all the time, right?
Right.
So, or they're not, yeah. It usually they tend to be outside the norm rather than being, inside it.
Kind of like within society.
I'm not sure what you're talking.
Like within like
describing this,
society's like expectations.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
They don't.
or
They
just-
don't. Yeah, they're not within like. Yeah, they're not.
Oh,
They're not
okay,
normies.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That line is narrowing though as time progresses.
I still think
thank
it's.
God.
I still think you're not cool if you're not weird.
I
You're
agree.
cool if you're weird. You can't get anywhere.
Yeah.
Your
Right.
life isn't going to be
and
interesting.
that's a perspective that didn't exist until like 20, 30 years ago.
yeah. Like you were kind of like follow
Like
the
Breakfast
path.
Club era, you have your typical jock and they're the cool guy. That's it.
Yeah.
Now it's like it's less so. Not that I'm a middle schooler in school anymore, so I don't really know what's cool or not.
Yeah.
But I imagine it's a lot more
Oh,
different. You
yeah.
probably get bullied for not having the right skin on Fortnite as opposed
that's
to
actually legitimate.
playing Fortnite.
That is legitimate.
When talking to my cousin, who like again, my cousin's 6'3", he's 13 years old. He's 6'3" and 280 pounds. He's a football player, right? Giant kid, right? I won't say like popular, but just like hearing about like his, talking experience, we're fairly close. And yeah, Fortnite's a huge thing. Anime is actually fairly popular for just like kids in middle school now, which is like, excuse me, what? Because I know back in like, during our era at least, you'd get bullied to all hell for that.
Yeah.
It's definitely it's a shift, and just being, I guess, more. It's weird because it's almost being more true to yourself is the cool thing now.
It's the cool. Yeah. It's like
which is great.
Yeah. It is. It is.
Yeah. But yeah. It's been a fun ride though with the VTubers. There's a lot of kind of, and like I've learned so much, and just I think especially from like a storytelling aspect, I really like that. I don't know why I get better. I like the storytelling of someone talking through an avatar more than just a human being.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think there's something that can be conveyed differently through it. Maybe because there's this, what we were talking about earlier with, there's that kind of dissociation there that because that they're actually anime avatar, it almost humanizes them more than an actual IRL streamer. Which is kind of a weird thing
it could potentially allow more of your personality to come out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's honestly up to the content creator.
Yeah.
How that all shakes down.
I'm-
I definitely think, like I was talking about this earlier, that it's going to become a popular form of media, even outside of the anime sphere.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think something like Code Miko, where it's the Unreal Engine based, like fully 3D modeled, especially if you get something like a really strong AI influence to it, that can take over. That's going to take over the media interface, because essentially is instant content generation, as you're talking about with the corridor thing, right? It's like they can just, all they need is some programmers and a server farm to just churn out content like nobody's business.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a. Do you guys know the show The Price is Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't really watch it, but at least I've heard of it. And
Ditto.
several of
60.
the Shoujo girls were on an episode. There was like 4 of them on a Price is Right episode. So they,
Really?
they had them just their, avatars on the side, talking with the hosts.
Wait, what kind of girls?
V Shoujo.
So, like,
I think
was
it
it
was Iron Mouse, Vebe, Nanners.
This was a real
and
Price is Right show?
Someone else.
This is like legitimate.
Yeah, it was aired
They were
on
actually
TV.
on TV.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah,
I gotta find
late
this
at
now.
night.
This is
late at
progressing
nighttime.
faster than I
it was
thought it
on
would.
YouTube.
Like, I did not.
And I was like, that
Well-
it's already,
Well, Vebe was on the news. She was literally on BBC.
What the heck?
Yeah.
what was she there for, or what happened? What was
I'm
the
pretty sure
report?
she's British, right? Her and Fruit, one of the other ones, I think that's her name.
Fruit.
Like the Lich one. They were on BBC just talking about, because VTubers was a thing, and they had like so they interviewed
interview.
British VTubers, which I thought was really
Yeah.
funny, because it's like,
And so like that's happening where some random British lady, in her 50s, 60s, could tune into the news and be like, oh, what's this VTuber thing? You know, like, and that's something that is now just being in a completely different realm than what they originally started in. Mm-hmm. Or like VTubers being in a completely different realm. It's kind of cool seeing how that's all shaking down.
It's only a matter of time too, because like with all the VR stuff coming out too, it's just, to me, they're gonna put that stuff in the headsets. You're gonna be able to very easily articulate your emotions and all that stuff within like a VR chat type scenario. So I definitely think it's coming. It like VTubers are to stay. I think that's like a thing people enjoy enough that they're not going anywhere and should only get more popular over time. I just wonder how fast they'll spread from now on, and like, are we going to see people like what is the next step in this era of like this virtual?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think there was a moment a year or two ago where people were like, "Oh, VTubers are done," you know, not a thing. Mm-hmm. But you know, clearly that's come to pass,
right?
And I believe they're here to stay. It's just like a new form of entertainment and a form of entertainment and a new form of expression.
Yeah.
That has evolved now from the online sphere, and it's pretty cool. Like I don't watch streamers, mm-hmm. but I'll watch VTubers.
Yeah, same.
You know, and I don't know why that is. Yeah, I don't know why that is, but it's definitely very true. Like I can't think of a single streamer that I watch that isn't a VTuber.
Yeah. I mean,
you know?
I don't know. Sometimes, I'm not going to lie, like the VTuber avatars are like way better to look at most of the time than some of the streamers. I'm not trying to say that streamers are
much
ugly.
More interactability.
I'm just saying it's like way more of a aesthetic thing, and especially when people like, you know, they love anime and they like anime girls. It's like they just like watching the avatar move, like even if they just like gawking at it kind of thing. That's why Pokemon's famous.
Yeah, I can see that. Like you know, Aethel or like Connor's avatar that are like, it's just cool and well designed, and it's consistent, you know. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's also that consistency thing. You know what you're getting. A lot of VTubers will get new models and new outfits and things like that, but it's consistent in a way that people usually aren't.
Yeah. And also the interactability side of things. I think there's a level of interactability, especially something like Code Miko. That's one thing I don't think really touched on, is her interactability is off the charts, because she can literally have objects spawned into her Unreal Engine, you know, game essentially, right?
Based off
like,
the chat
it's
interaction.
like, boom, yeah, chat puts in, you know, 500 bits on Twitch, and it's like, oh, here it spawns a dude farting or something like that, right? Which is stupid, but still, it's like, this is a next level interactability that you can't get from any other streamer like that, right? I think Girl DM just implemented one where if they give them money, they throw mayo at her. I'm not even joking. Well, she also just got a 2D model too.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just like, excuse me, what? So, you know, adding that extra level of interactability is just nuts. And especially in the future, that's going to be the new content generation.
And I'm not one to, you know, interact on streams. Like, even if I was watching something on stream, you know, wouldn't type anything really, wouldn't do anything like that. I don't leave comments on YouTube videos. Like, I'm very much like on Reddit, you'd be defined as a lurker. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, I just observe, and while it's also tricky to talk about too, because you could say like, oh, well, you don't contribute, you know, money at all to this person just making content. Like, well, that's kind of just how things work. I mean, some people will give money or pay for stuff, and some people will just take what they can get, you know, and that goes for movies. It goes for any form of entertainment. You know, whether you just watch something on, like, just because you say you don't go see a movie in theater, does that mean you're less? You contribute less to the actor that's playing a character, or less to the movie than if you watched it on Netflix, you know, in a year?
Yeah. Although I am somewhat of a lurker, but I will sometimes put in chat. And I honestly, it's one of the best feelings because I don't simp. I don't give money or anything
don't
like
simp.
that.
I
Let me
swear.
be clear. I do not simp.
don't Sir, of course I do not swim. Simp. I don't put.
I don't think
put
it's
money
going to hold
toward
up
creators.
in court, Michael. But
Yeah. But well, of course it was because you can check my bank records. I have not given any money to any streamer. However, I do find it really awesome when you can like interact with them, and like I've done a few moments with a couple of VTubers where it's like, you know, I've only typed in chat a couple dozen times, but like there'll be some times when I put in a comment in, and like he actually gets a good reaction, and I'm like, yes. Like there was one where
feel good.
I think this girl was playing Skyrim. I was like, I put in kill the chicken, and she kills the chicken. I'm like, yes, and then she had to reload her save. But that was a great moment because I was like, it's the one thing. I was like,
It does make you feel kind of cool, like to actually interact with a celebrity. That's why streaming is so good.
And especially
in
when you're
general.
not paying for it. Like it's like not paying for sex. You can just go, hey, it's you know you get it through you know a good interaction, right?
sure.
That's a bad analogy.
It's an interesting analogy to go with right there.
Yeah, where'd that come from, Michael?
Oh God, no! I was just thinking of yeah.
I gotcha. So yeah, I do understand. Like, and I don't contribute in the sense that, I mean, and there's so many different ways of income from this now. There's ads, direct donations, viewer count, which boosts in the algorithm. Like, you could say that just by viewing, you're contributing in a lesser form than you would to someone else. But it also doesn't necessarily matter if you contribute. I don't think, as long as you're not taking away.
Right.
Like, I'm not harassing them in any way, you know. So
Yeah,
would my watching be worse than what they're doing? You know, even though I don't.
And there's other
donate
ways to
anything,
contribute
let's say.
too, like buying merch items or
Yeah.
Patreon even.
I could
like
see some merch
buying
occasionally
albums.
if they made like some low key stuff.
like Callie's album, getting Callie's album.
Yeah, or like listening to things on
I have-
Spotify or buying the album that she sells.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I think it's a new wave, and
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where this goes. I hope it does not die. That's one thing I was
I
especially
think
worried
it's
about.
impossible at this point.
Yeah, it's got too much traction anymore.
Yeah, I think it's here to stay. Love it or hate it, anime girls are what people want. You can't argue against it.
Yep, anime's
Yeah.
the future, man.
Definitely becoming more popular, and it's like you're saying, here to stay. I don't think there's a point like what's the rule? Like you're past the X amount of time, and it becomes a trend.
Like the it's hit the critical
Critical mass
Critical
value.
mass, yeah.
Critical mass.
I would definitely. I mean, 4 million subscribers for Gura. That's past way past critical mass
That's
at this point.
extremely insane. I
Like-
mean, yeah, that's
And
I
at a
know
certain
there's
point,
plenty of people
at a certain
who
point,
have,
YouTube, you just don't go down as long as you keep releasing content.
yeah.
It's just kind of impossible.
I know there's plenty of places that their content died. I think it's like some like Smosh, or
Yeah.
they were way ahead and their channels died. Trying to
Died
think of
because they
some other
stopped making it, or because people stopped listening. You know, it's.
ones. I'm not sure on that one, but
I think I would imagine people tend to stop listening. But they stop making
stop
stuff.
making it instead of
But obviously, I'm not a famous YouTuber, so I don't know. But I mean, Ryan Higa was at one point the most popular ever, and he still has probably like 10 million subscribers. He
Yeah.
posts a video once every like 10 months. It's like there's
really.
you still retain a lot, maybe just because people forget to unsubscribe and things.
Well,
so.
yeah, I mean, he was a big name too. I didn't even know he was still making content. That's cool.
yeah, shit. PewDiePie
Yeah, it's like a
doesn't make
podcast
as much
now and
content
stuff.
as he used to. Makes it get like once a week, doesn't he?
I haven't watched PewDiePie since I was
I
13,
don't really watch
but-
him either. The only reason I mention that is because he recently moved to Japan. So I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I heard that.
I saw that pop up in trending. And I was
moved
like,
to
oh,
Japan?
cool. PewDiePie's in Japan now.
What the heck? Why?
Yeah, it's the hip thing to do, and he's got money, so why not, right?
This is gonna suck, man. When Japan opens up again, get ready because the floodgates are open. All
Yeah.
So many people are going to
I
be
don't
trying
think
to get
Japan
in.
is ready for it.
I don't think so.
honestly.
I think they're going to be like, guys, let's put a hold.
And the
Yeah.
people going there are not going to be ready for it because they don't understand how Japan
Yeah, I know.
works.
That's what I'm nervous about. It's
How
like,
terrible it is
there's plenty of
to interact
stuff,
with some of this.
There's plenty of content, honestly, that shit. Even us talking about how Japan works. So I think people have there's a lot of resources out there.
Yeah, but
for it.
do people read resources?
That's
you
true.
know,
Yeah.
end users, do they read the knowledge base? No.
it's like,
So it's just we'll see.
yeah, I'm worried.
Okay,
I'm,
Jaden
like,
Sean.
It's called being a realist. Thank you very much.
people are just gonna run in there, be like anime, and
No, but honestly, it's
not-
grown so much,
Yeah.
throughout COVID. So we shall see how it goes.
I just want to be able to get a ticket for a decent price, go somewhere, and not have
Same.
it be completely annihilated by tourists. I just feel like that's how it's gonna be for a while.
Yeah, I want to go to Hokkaido, baby. Hokkaido.
Yeah, there won't be as many tourists there. So, well,
I
maybe
just don't want to interact with weebs, all right? They're the worst.
I hate weebs. Weebs.
So why are
weebs
you going to
are
AX then?
weebs?
People
Those aren't
watch.
weebs. Those are gamers.
Those are yeah,
Uh,
I'm sure. Oh man, I'm gonna spend too much money there.
Oh,
It's
I'm gonna spend
suck.
so much money there.
I'm not. I want to try to hold off. As much
I'm
as possible,
I'm gonna
but
spend
I'll
money
end up
on
spending.
art. On art, probably. That's probably it.
True art.
Yeah,
True
here's,
art.
No, here's what's going to happen is I'm going to hold off a bunch. Like, it's going to be like holding back the floodgates, right? But then I'll see like this one thing that's really
Like
expensive. and I'm
$500
like,
bucks. Yeah.
fuck.
Like, fuck.
And the floodgates
Gotta
open
get it.
and I hit it. And it's like breaking the seal, right? You just have to like keep
Oh.
buying stuff.
Yeah.
My willpower will slowly be
Well,
drained
I mean,
over the next.
Not even just that, but like food. Food
I'll
is
be
going
blowing so much
long
money
now.
on food.
Did they? Are they gonna have food in the convention though? Don't we have to go get our own food?
I hope. I mean,
I hope
probably.
not.
But
Well, it doesn't matter if they do. I want to go out.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean,
LA
yeah,
food's going to be good too. but-
yeah,
You're in LA, which has some of the most diverse food
In-
in the US.
yeah.
You don't want to go out.
yeah. We're going out.
We're going out.
Make
Meet
sure
us at
to-
a bar.
yeah. We're going out,
Honestly, when
boys.
we're at
Make
AX,
sure
we need to
to,
see. We need to see if we can get into that
yeah.
YouTube influencer party that they have,
Uh-huh.
and be like, "Yo, we have a podcast. It does really well."
We get like 5 views an
Hey,
episode.
don't
like,
say that. Don't let the viewers know.
on YouTube.
Oh, that's true. On YouTube, we do a lot better on actual services. Watch
Yeah.
our YouTube videos,
yeah.
boys and girls.
Yeah, add those comments. We really appreciate the feedback because we want to get better and learn from you guys, and that way one day we'll get there.
That way, we'll get there
Oh,
one day.
wow.
Wow.
Was that the end right there? Was that it? Did you just end the podcast?
That was an
Michael?
abrupt end, but it might be the end.
I was thinking about it, but I'll do an official one then. We really appreciate your viewership. Please like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff there with all the socials. And thanks for listening to Almost a Podcast. This has been your host, Mike, with my lads, Colton and Sean.
Lads.
And one day we'll get there.
Yeah.
One day I'm gonna be a VTuber.
One day, dude, if I could do a streamer